Okay, today I confess I'm a little bit out of my depth. All right, I'm a long way out of my depth. Now, I promised you a sneak peek into the inside of the workshop where it is right now. You're going to notice the sound's a little bit echoey, and I've got two studio lights. One is blinding me and one is lighting up my shoulder. I really hope the quality is going to be good, but I am very sorry if it's not all tied together perfectly. But the main reason that I'm out of my depth is because this arrived today. I want to give you a 10-second backstory into what happens as a channel and what has led to this. Recently, a load of you guys have started watching, clicking, subscribing, and within maybe 2 months, we've jumped up from 3,000 to about 15,000 subscribers. Now, at 3,000 subscribers, you tend to get a lot of sponsorship offers, collaborations, and freebies that may not necessarily be in line with the channel. And I did. And I turned every single one of them down. But as you grow, the quality starts to go up. And eventually, you get offered something that you cannot turn down for many reasons. The first one, a reputable company. Second one, something that you can put in line with the channel to help with your viewers. And we'll get to that a little bit later. We'll circle back around. And thirdly, a tool that is just so cool that you cannot turn down having it because you always wanted one, even if you're not really sure how to use it. xTool company, leaders in the market and bringing out some of the coolest in laser equipment that you could think of for woodworking or craft in general. P2 is their best bit of kit to date. You may think woodworking YouTuber, does videos for us, edits them. He's clearly going to be a genius on a computer. Not even close. I've never used a piece of kit like this before, and I don't even have the computer skills to make it work. However, xTool assure me that they have the easiest to use software attached directly to this, their creative space. So I've given myself 1 day to unbox it, set it up, test it, and what I was circling back to, see if there's something that I can put together at the end of the video that will be not a competition of such, but something that I can give free to some of the viewers of this video. I find that exciting. I know that there are 3 reasons that people may feel like they don't want to get a laser. Firstly would be cost. Secondly would be you don't need it. And thirdly, like me, you don't think you can use it or know how to use it. I gotta say, I was in each one of those boats. Cost-wise, this, yes, it's expensive. However, it has little brothers and sisters within the same company that will absolutely knock your socks off for quality. So it's worth checking out xTool in general. Second thing is that you might not need it within your woodworking. Now, I get that and felt the same way. And then I started watching the videos of what they can do. And if any of you have watched my beginner project that sells where I made the jewelry box, I even pointed out there and then that if you had a laser or a CNC, you could decorate those boxes and make them really stand out when you're selling them. If you're a hand tool only woodworker and you've not touched a power tool, I get it. This is probably not for you, but for everyone else, it could be the +1 you're looking for to increase your sales. Thirdly, don't know how to use the software, don't know how to use the machine. Things like this scare me, they may as well be a spaceship. Well, that's me. And by the end of this, if I've managed to get it to do anything, or if I've sent it back, you'll have your answer. I'm going to whiz through the bits that aren't of interest, and I'm going to show you bits that are of interest. And I'm going to talk you through the features of this machine as I go. So, first things first, let's get this unboxed. So while I'm doing this, while I'm getting into the box, let me tell you about it. There's 2 different types of lasers. You've got the diode cutters and you've got the CO2 lasers. I don't know the difference in technology, however, I do know that CO2 lasers are more powerful, they cut quicker and they cut better, unlike this Stanley knife. Oh, come on. That was satisfying. What makes this one a cut above the rest is that it's got 2 16 megapixel cameras attached to the laser itself. So when you put your piece in, you can actually see a picture on your computer of the piece itself. And you can click and drag your image that you're going to engrave onto it, or the area that you're going to cut, right into the bit you're going to do. It's so clever, it can write its own name on a toothpick. And what's more, it can engrave on curved surfaces, and you can get a conveyor belt that runs through it so you can do bigger pieces. Now, that is coming in the next video when I go through some of the accessories. Right, now how do we get the box off? Oh, 2 people to carry this. I nearly broke my back just trying to get it up onto the bench. One of the features that I didn't quite understand till I looked at it a little bit closer is that it can actually create a 3D model in its software of what you're trying to engrave on. And then as the laser passes over that 3D model, it can adjust the wavelength so that you don't get distortion on your image. I'm not going to lie to you, I thought there'd be more packing. This is a hefty piece of kit. But then it has to have all of the technology in it, so it's not going to be small. Did you know that if you sprinkle a batch of the same size pieces in there, let's say you throw in dog tags, and you throw in about 50 of them in random arrays, you only need to set what you're engraving on one of them, align it using the camera, and then it'll automatically batch it out for you, and it will find the same location on each one of the shapes, even if they're not next to each other regimented. That's got to make life a little bit easier. It's got a load of the things you'd actually expect to have on here. It's got an entire screen that comes up that's built in that will tell you what's going on. Start-stop button. It's got safety features as well. We're going to get onto those afterwards, but there's a great big red button on the side, so if you need to stop it, like any of your tools, give it a slap, everything cuts out. If you're going to be using this for a business, this is important. One of the things that excites me is that this can go up to 6 times faster than your regular diode cutters. And if it's going to work 6 times faster, it just means that I haven't got to leave it unattended overnight to get those batches out, which is really not sensible. I can get it all done. I can get on to picking up my hand tools and start working on wood again. Speaking of wood, it does have limitations, but the maximum cut depth it's got is 18 mil of black walnut, which is not a softwood, and that is a decent thickness. 20 mil of acrylic it can cut through. If you want to knock out those router jigs that you've seen on Instagram and places like that, this will cut them in no time, and they'll be accurate, and there's files for it already around. How do you get it out of the box? You hope it has handles. Oh my. I needed 2 tables or 2 people. I feel like there's a really good way of doing this. And then there's my way. Wow, I feel like they could have made this a little bit heavier. Oh, there's no catching that if it falls. All right, I've lifted roofs, rafters, 3 tons of rubble, and this is my Everest. Pretty sure we're going to need a break now. Cup of tea. Oh, look. This is the first safety feature. This is hydraulically held, so you won't lose fingers with it falling down on you. 2 very thick instruction manuals. The one we need today, a starter guide. Nozzle for filling up the antifreeze and the water. Plug, obvious reasons. Screwdriver, attachments, USB cable, the laser, let's not pull on that, spare pieces, and this is so we can have a play. Some cardboard, some fancy ply, extraction hose. So this ductwork, you're either attaching it to your extraction system that goes straight outside, or they actually sell an air filtration system, which you can see it. If you click on the link, there's an affiliate link down on the bottom. Now, if you are looking at genuinely buying one of these, or one of its cheaper brothers and sisters, you'll see there's a load of accessories. The riser lift, which I'm going to show you, the conveyor belt, which I'm going to show you, and the air filtration, which I can't show you because I actually haven't ordered it, but I might have to because I don't actually have any venting in this workshop right now. That's your antifreeze. And then Handy little markers on all the screws you've got to remove to put that antifreeze in that I was telling you about, and obviously the screwdriver to do it. And you can see that is a seriously easy to understand setup. This is everything you get, and this is what you've got to do. Unscrew the screws that fix the base plate. Easy. Screwdriver, look, tab to show you every single one of the screws you need to take out. Magnetised. Fancy. Take out the foam and acrylic sheets and put the base plate back into the machine. So this, oh, okay. While we're working on that base plate, I want to tell you the sheer size of the working area you've got in here, because the bed itself is 680mm by 360mm, which gives you an operating space of 600mm by 308mm, which is vast. With the tray, you can engrave up to a depth of 64mm. Take the tray out, increase it to 71mm, and with the riser lift, you can stick a suitcase in there, you can do your big jewellery boxes, because you've got a height of 215mm, which will cover a lot of the things you're making that you want to sell. So we take the tray out. This is where they store some acrylic sheets to test with. Empty the tray completely and slide it back in. Don't throw that screw away because you've got to put it back in. Bingo. Well, it says take this off. Oh, this bit here is another one of those cool safety features, because this lock, once the lid goes down, when you're using it, this comes out and locks it until the job's done. That is a handy safety feature, and I can show you the red button now. The red button is right over this side, and when you want to get it working, you twist it, turn it on, and it starts working for you, fires up the machine. But it gives you that safety that you can switch it off should anything start to happen that you don't want to happen. Turn the emergency switch back on, unscrew the screws that attach the rear cover. We've got to go back inside. I want to show you this because I think this is super good. Look at that. Every single one you're taking out has got a little tab on it. Oh, it's a reversible screwdriver. Ha! Right. Okay, that's the 6 from this side. And then there are another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to come out from the back. Check where the laser tube is cracked. So this is the tube that I need to check for cracks. No cracks in there. This is where the coolant goes. And this is where a little bit of maths comes into it. So in here, we've got to open it and we've got to put our coolant in. And you have to check, depending on where you're based, whether you're going to be putting the right amount in. So I'm not going to put any antifreeze in mine. I'm going to put in 1100ml of purified water on the first go. Then you let it circulate through, and then you top up the tank with around about 300ml, well, exactly 300ml in fact, on the second go. And for this, you need the handy funnel that you got. You need to undo the water cap at the back and then tighten it back up again. And you need to put power into this for the first time. I have carefully measured out the first 1100ml of purified water. I'm just going to, very carefully, put it into the jug. And they say that should pretty much fill it up, which is why you have to switch it on to circulate it. Now, although this is the cooling technique, it also has air cooling on the laser itself, so that improves your cut quality and the life of the laser. Because I know one thing that I've read in a lot of reviews about the cheaper end lasers is that if you use them on full power for too long, they tend to deteriorate and not do such a good job of cutting. So I'm hoping that's going to help with this. Ah, I didn't even use the funnel. It's got a plug, it's a good start. And I've got a power supply. So, plug goes in the back, and then we, whirring, lights on, bubbling, more bubbling, 30 seconds. Look at that. Now, You can see all the slats in that bottom at the moment. Now, that is to get rid of the smoke, and that's going to protect the wood and anything you're cutting from smoke damage. A lot of these machines do a honeycomb panel. xTool tell me that it helps to disperse the smoke better than the honeycomb pattern itself. So, I put the other bit in a bottle so that it wouldn't get all mixed up in one go. Close the cap, and then we just put the rear cover back on. Then put the exhaust pipe on. This is ironic because I've got nowhere to exhaust it to. That's right, I built a shed with windows that don't open. Spoiler alert. Now it says use the xTool P2. Download and install the xTool Creative Space. Connect it to a computer and then... Alright, and then you can start doing stuff. Is it that simple? Let's see. I'll be the judge of that. We're done with that. Okay, so now it's switched on. You're going to hear a lot of whirring in the video. I'm sorry I can't do anything about that. I have downloaded the xTool Creative Space, and just from playing on it for maybe 10 minutes, I can see that it's a really simple setup. There are videos online where people teach you how to use it to its full potential. I am just going to try and get it to work to some extent. This is where I've been very grateful because I've got one of you already who has already sent me a logo and asked me to do some things for him, and that's actually good for me because it means I can practice with this and get really good at it in time for some of the things I want to run over the coming months. Because I said to you at the start, this will not change the channel's direction because I'm going to use it as a side to the channel, not the center of the channel. There will be things that I will use it for, and if I do ever use it, I will show you another way of doing it. So don't worry, the videos will not change. However, I'm going to use it as a side hustle. And for that, it's going to be for stuff that I sell and stuff, more importantly, that I give away. And that's where you guys can help me. At the end of this video, I'm going to ask you to comment. If you're in the UK, I want you to send me a logo, a photo, something along those lines that I can print out for you onto plywood, acrylic, or thin hardwood. And what that's going to do is that's going to help me learn, but it's also going to help you guys get something for nothing from something that I've got for nothing. Well, a few videos, but I like making videos. Now, I haven't perfected it yet, so I have to start small. So what I'm going to do is the first 10 that come to me, I'm going to fire you off an email. Now, I want you to start your comment with xTool Laser, and then just whatever comment you want to put that you'd normally put otherwise. I'll ping you off a message with my email address, and we can get whatever it is you want printed onto whatever it is that you want printed. I'm hoping that I'll be able to make some round discs that you can put into your pieces that will have your logo on it or your name on it. Bearing in mind, this can put its name on a toothpick, so I'm pretty sure we'll be capable of doing that. Or if you want a cool acrylic plaque that you want to put on something with your logo on it, or if you just have a family photo that you wondered, I wonder what that would look like on a piece of plywood that we can frame, or on a piece of, maybe even on a piece of hardwood, or on a coaster, or something like that. I'll figure it out, I'll try and figure it out. If not, I'll do my best to do something similar. It's going to be a process, it's going to be an experiment, but that helps me to learn. Let's see in the next 10 or 15 minutes if we can actually get this fired up to make something. Connection, that's what we need to do first. Let me show you what the software looks like. I've just taken my logo and I've split it up using a bit of this software because I've got no idea what it's going to do. And this is the entire software itself. It is so simple. You can basically click and move these around, and then see here, I've put my logo into just lines. Click on edit image. You can then take bits out. So if I want to take the green background out, suddenly you're left with just the outlines of that. So I can maybe ask it to do some things. I haven't even connected yet, but let's do that first. If you are connecting it to a Mac, you'll need something like this, because it's got a USB port and you need it to be one of these. It's very cheap. I'll put a link to it. Connect device, top corner. There it is. Oh look, now this is the camera. So this is showing you the bed of the machine, and these are my bits and bobs. So I can click on them and drag them. Tell you what, let's put a piece of wood in. Open it, 3mm basswood, which is I think what they call plywood. So let's click on that. Oh, there it is. Now, it's quite a small bit of wood. So let's make, look, I think we're getting this, guys. Let's make that smaller. This is selected. I'm over to this side and I'm going to click cut. I'm going to change each one. This can only be engraved because it's a picture. So let's do that. Let's do this as a score. Let's cut that, engrave that, and engrave this one. Start. Now you get a preview to see what the engraving might look like. Well, that's going to look rubbish. That's going to look quite cool. Yeah, let's just give it a shot. Right, we've got a ready button. Press the button on the device to start. And it's lit up blue. It's doing stuff. Looks like it's starting off with the engraving. And here, look at this. You actually get a progress bar. This shows it's locked. And it's working 20 degrees in the room. And it's nowhere near finished. This is noisy, but not overly noisy. I don't feel like it's deafening. It's certainly not going to stop me thinking, but it's not quiet. Okay, so first attempt ever, what I put it through took 10 minutes. 10 minutes and a half, give or take. And that's what's inside the machine. It's a little bit smoky in here. It didn't get smoky until I did the cutting, because it has to burn straight through the ply, I guess. Now, this should have unlocked. Lovely. First things first, the cut bits popped out. Clean lines, really good finish. I really like the engraving for a first attempt. This one, the letters were in white. That's not going to engrave, is it? The simple disc. Perfect. And a good size if you want to sync logos into your work. If, like me, your work falls through the gaps because it's tiny, each one of these slats comes out. Now, I don't know if you can see the sheer size of what it's cut out. That is one of the coolest things I have ever seen. I'm easily impressed, I get it. But I'm not going to tell you how to do stuff, but that is incredible. And look at all the little letters and the little hand planes. I should not be this excited right now, but I am. So that's the first test. And I really enjoyed that. But I've got to put it through its paces on some other things. I'm going to show you in the next video what I've come up with. Now, in the meantime, don't forget to comment xTool and whatever comment you put in anyway. And the first 10 people, I will drop you my email address into the comments and you can then get in touch with me and we can organise a little freebie. Now, the next 10 freebies that I'm going to do after that, I will put into a hat and draw them out of everybody else who puts xTool in the comments. At the moment, I just don't think I could ship even the smallest of things abroad, but I will figure that out and I promise I'll make it up to you guys that are abroad because I have big plans for this as part of the channel's community. I hope you've enjoyed this video. The links to all of this are down in the bottom in the description. As I said, I have no idea what I'm doing. I couldn't have afforded one of these unless I looked at the business potential, and I thought that I wouldn't be able to use one of these. I've proved to you that if I can learn how to use it, you certainly can. I hope you enjoyed that. If you need anything else, drop me an email. I'll answer any questions. I've got another build video coming out. You've seen a sneak peek of some of the walls and the roof in this one. I hope the lighting hasn't been too distracting. The backdrop will change, the interior will change, but in a few days' time, the next build video is going to be live. I'll see you over there.